Hey everybody, today's topic is in Unit 2, and we're talking just really about cell energy. So we're going to focus on the processes that only a couple of those organelles we talked about last time are doing. So our real learning target today is to focus on how photosynthesis transforms light energy into chemical energy, and how cellular respiration takes food molecules or chemical energy, our carbohydrates, and oxygen, and creates this ATP and allows us to process that energy in a positive way. So not too much really to focus on. We're going to break this process down really simply, and we're going to do some investigations in class to reinforce this quite a bit. But really the first thing that we do is a process of photosynthesis is the conversion of light energy into chemical energy. So carbohydrates are really the sucrose and starch that are inside of plants are made from this organelle in the chloroplast, which we talked about. The process is really right here. We have the word equation and the chemical equation, or the symbol equation. You should definitely know the word equation. You should know inputs and outputs. This would be an input on this side, and then the arrow comes across, and this is the out on that side, just simply referring to what's created. So this is going to occur in the chloroplast of plant cells. Here's our chloroplast down here. It contains chlorophyll, remember that green pigment, and the thing that a lot of people really surprises them is this right here, that the chloroplast is green, but it actually is reflecting that green light, which is why we see that. It absorbs mainly red and blue wavelengths of light and allows it to create the glucose and oxygen. So what do we need to know in class? We need to know this down here at the bottom. This is going to be really important for being successful. This whole idea that photosynthesis takes carbon dioxide and water and converts that into glucose and oxygen. It does this with the power of the sunlight that's driving this reaction. So remember, when we talk about chemical reactions, we don't really focus on the energy part of it. It's not written in here in any way in the pluses. It's not light plus carbon dioxide plus water, but it is important to know that this energy comes in to push this reaction forward and allow us to create our glucose and oxygen there. We talked about this also in detail when we talked about the carbon cycle and the importance of moving carbon through our ecosystems, and photosynthesis is a way to do that. So plants do this process, animals do not. So plant cells have these chloroplasts, animal cells don't. But keep in mind that plant cells are also going to have mitochondria. So that brings us to our next process that we need to talk about in cell energy, which is cellular respiration. This is the release of chemical energy from sugars and other carbon-based molecules to make ATP when oxygen is present. So oxygen is an important component. The carbon-based molecules like glucose is really important. Combine those two things, and those are broken down, and the mitochondria will take that stuff and give off byproducts of carbon dioxide and water. But it's also going to release this ATP molecule, which is really what the body uses for energy, or the cell needs for energy to do a lot of various tasks. But anything that requires energy, ATP is that main source right there. So this is going to occur in the mitochondria. We see our mitochondria here. It's got an inner and outer membrane. It's membrane-bound organelle, just like some of the other ones we were talking about, but really important in releasing this and creating this ATP molecule. This is the only way eukaryotes can process energy, and it can also be done by plants. Like I said, plants can do this and sometimes have to do this when they don't have light energy available.